What's going on, guys? It's your boy Wholesumbot back again for another video. Today we're going to be going over Achilles, a little bit of pros, a little bit of cons in our new A to Z series. We're going to try to make this a little bit interesting, so as I play with these gods in my duels, I'm going to be talking a little bit about their playstyle, what counters them, what makes them stronger than certain gods, certain items you might want to build in certain matchups. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Starting this off, I definitely want to say that one of the harder things about Achilles, especially if you're playing it on solo lane or even playing a duel, one of the first problems you're going to run into is going to be that Achilles himself does not have very good early game clear, especially compared to some mages like Hades who can just max out his 2 and at level 4 already insta clear wave. Also against, as you can see in this match that I'm playing, I'm going against an Opwash, and he is absolutely dominating me as far as clear goes. I actually had to switch up and run Bluestone and Crusher off start just because I knew I would not be able to fight him with him having such strong bot dominance. As you saw right there, I did have to back up and I did go for my blue instead of engaging him, which sometimes is the best thing to do when you're playing with someone like Achilles because he's just not the strongest warrior. I cannot stress that enough. A lot of people think he's that strong, but he's just not. Secondly, once you make it past that early game stage, which is very awkward for Achilles, the next thing you're going to be in notice is once you're able to clear, because clearing is usually always the first thing you want to do unless you're playing with extremely high damage assassin. Otherwise, you can sometimes bypass the wave and just go for the kill and then kill them afterwards. And by them, I mean the bots. But once you hit past this awkward early game stage with Achilles, you'll notice that you're pretty much able to box confidently most gods, except for extremely high burst damage gods such as Medusa, Soul, Olorun, even Bellona. Once you make it past this early game stage, you should be able to box most people early game as long as you're using your ability to basic ratio pretty. Alright, now check this out. Achilles passive basically gives him a defensive item or an offensive item innately by end game. So by end game, you're going to be getting something like 30 additional protections, 385 extra health. Or if you go into your power stance, you're going to be getting basically 40 extra power, which is the equivalent of some power items such as Crusher. Beastic has 50 now, but you get the idea. Now check this out. As Achilles, you can't afford to go either offense or defense start because your passive allows you to have this boost. Now, innately, when you're going against someone like Hades or let's just say Soul, right? Usually, typically, what I would do is I'm going to run anti-heal starter just because I don't want Soul to be able to run Bancrofts with Ring of Hake and me not even be able to box. So if you can stop her early game from being able to take that lead, as Achilles, whether that means you're going to be running Pestilence starter or Toxic Blade, because Achilles can be ran ability based, he can be ran defensive, and he can be ran basic attack based. He's actually one of the most versatile warriors in that aspect. And just to make sure, when I say early game anti-heal starter, I do not mean Tainted Steel. I mean something like Beat Stick or Pestilence. Now, basically, as you can see, now that I have my Bluestone and my Crusher online, it does allow me to almost instantly clear the wave. And it does, once Achilles can clear the wave, there's not a lot of gods that can just outright outbox this man. He's pretty solid if you play your cards right. That is going to be you going into box, once you know their abilities are back up, you hitting that 3, then canceling it, which whatever cancel button you have, continuing to basic until you can predict that ability being thrown. If you can predict that ability being thrown, dodge it with the 3, auto cancel it again into another basic chain. Now, if you're going against a hunter, you might be able to auto cancel it, get 2 basics off, and then immediately dodge right after, basically minimizing the amount of hits that they're going to be able to get off on you. And it also allows you to counterattack with the 2 again, which is an unstoppable combo, especially against hunters. All this being said, Achilles is going to have a very good matchup against anybody who does not have very good peel, as he does have a way of chasing someone who is attempted to box him, and he also has a way of stunning those attempting to escape. His 3 also allows him to get that dodge. Now, where he's going to fall off is going to be someone with very high clear potential. So basically what we're talking about characters like Hao Yi, and her. Who's another one? You guys get the idea. Do you know what I'm saying? So the reason for this is gonna be that his three does not allow him to just stick to people that have ran. So when Anher jumps away, Achilles has to try to close his distance. Now this gives Anher the ability to place his one, slowing Achilles and making him take additional damage, as well as being able to push him back with his two, creating more distance for Anher to get basics from the safety of the distance, and then additionally being able to three. All this paired with the fact that Anher would then be able to use his ultimate to just completely obliterate Achilles' health. You can start to see why this would make an almost impossible matchup for Achilles. So definitely, if you're going to be playing duels or you're going to be playing solo lane and you have an idea that the person you're going for is going to choose someone like Anher as an off-roll solo, or they're going to choose Anher in a duel, do not pick Achilles. I cannot stress this enough. You might be able to beat a low level Anher, but a high level Anher is absolutely going to wreck you. Now, finishing Achilles' ability overview, we're going to be talking about his ults. I mean, his ults, there's not really much to it. It's an execute, the same as Thanatos and Ao Kwang. Once they hit a certain percentage health, which for Achilles is going to be 30%, you will then be able to hit them with the ult, which will have a channeling time in which Achilles will float and channel the attack before launching it. If he connects with the enemy, you will instantly kill them, damaging them for 999 damage. However, if the ability is not finished casting by the time the enemy procs an Aegis or uses a meditation, you will not get the kill. You probably are going to do no damage to them, and you're probably going to die because you're pretty punchable when you were just floating there. Nice job. Now, if you make it to end game with Achilles and you're not going against the god that aggressively counters you, you're probably 9 times out of 9 gonna beat them into a living pulp. Because, like I stated earlier, at this point in the game, your passive is basically giving you a whole item up on your opponent, making it extremely hard for them to outmaneuver you. Obviously, if you're going against a high skilled opponent, they're going to do a lot more poke on you than just going straight in for the box. So definitely do look out for that. But if you're going against the average Joe Schmo Smite 56, you know what I'm saying? They're not really going to know what to do. And it's basically going to be a free win if you've made it to the end game against a god that doesn't counter you. Now that we've gone over what you should do if you're playing with Achilles, how about we talk about my favorite aspect of this video, what to do if you're going against Achilles. Now, if you find yourself as the unfortunate soul on the other end of Achilles' spear, you have a couple of options, especially when it comes to dealing with late game Achilles. Now, if you're playing with a character who's going to be playing a basic attack, or i.e. ADC mage, or just your average everyday hunter who's going attack speed, one of the fastest ways to counter Achilles is going to be running Executioner right into Kensai's as Achilles defense. And if you're playing with any character, I would recommend getting a Blink or a Beads or a Sprint Boots, basically allowing you to get away from him in the end game. Obviously, it's subjective to each person's playstyle, but this is just what I would prefer to do. Now, the reason definitely for Kensai is you're going to shred through his health. It doesn't even matter his protections. You're going to shred through that. And with Executioner, you're going to reduce his protections by 30 something percent, getting rid of his physical protection stance in game almost indefinitely. Now, obviously, do not, do not have a face on fight with him unless you're at 75% health and he's at 30% health, because you got to remember 30% of your health doesn't even count in that fight if he has his ult unless your Aegis is up. If you fight him in game and he gets you 30% health and he's somewhat good at the game, he's going to kill you. So you definitely want to have a lot more than 50% health. Don't accept an encounter that's going to be 25% health, him, and you be 50. Because if he gets rid of that 20% before you get rid of his and he ults you, you lose the fight. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind when you're trying to box Achilles. Now, secondly, another method that you definitely could go is going to be Obshard directly into Soul Eater if you're playing with a Nuking Mage. If you're playing with a Nuking Mage, same strategy. You're just going to want to push him back, keep him at a distance, Avoid his stun. His stun does have a very short reach for the stun, but the damage has a long reach. Late game, the damage of the stun shouldn't be too high. Just avoid the actual stun. Avoid taking basics. As long as you can avoid the basic attacks, you will be able to avoid dying. And that's everything we're gonna need to wrap up this video. Definitely, if you guys did like the video, do consider dropping a subscription. Consider checking out my other socials. My username on all of them is the exact same. That's gonna be Wholesumbot with the 0 instead of an O. Otherwise, you guys hopefully have a great day. Stay hydrated, stay positive, stay motivated, and most importantly, I don't fucking know, honestly. I didn't even know what I was gonna say. I'll figure it out eventually later on in the future. But other words, peace out.